Day one of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's return down under was eventful, and the best part is that it centered connection and community. We have a lot to get into with this update, so let's get started. Hey y'all, thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we'll be discussing an update directly from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex by way of their website, sussex.com, where I practically live. The link to this update is linked in the description box below under sources. The title is Returning to Australia, Connection and Community. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. Prince Harry and Meghan, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, returned to Australia for the first time since 2018 today, arriving in Melbourne and spending the day with organizations and communities working at the forefront of care, recovery, and human connection. From supporting children and families navigating complex health journeys, to meeting women rebuilding their lives, to honoring veteran families, the day reflected a shared commitment to service and strengthening communities. The day began at the Royal Children's Hospital Melbourne, RCH for short, where the couple were welcomed by the hospital's CEO and senior leaders in adolescent and mental health. The hospital is widely recognized as one of Australia's leading pediatric centers, delivering integrated, world-class care to children and young people. After meeting children and families along Main Street, the couple spent time in the hospital's Kelpie ward, which through their adolescent health service supports young people experiencing complex physical and mental health challenges. They spent time in Kelpie's therapy garden, where RCH patients grow herbs and vegetables for the hospital's kitchen as part of RCH's therapeutic garden program. Not to divert away from this update, but I just have to say how amazing that is. Not only does it integrate your patients into the ecosystem of the hospital, makes them feel involved, gives them something to do, but also it's extremely constructive for so many reasons, but it's also very, very healthy. I would trust a hospital that grew its own food 100%. I mean, they're thinking of health from the rooter to the tutor, to put it lightly. They're thinking of a holistic approach to health. That is incredible. But this is also yet another reason why these visits, these tours, these engagements are so impactful, because it not only exposes people to things that they might not have come across. I'm in America. There's a very low chance that I would have ever been exposed to this hospital's Kelpie ward or knew that they were doing this, but I'm not the only one. Most of us are adults invested in our own lives, invested in our own whatever's in close proximity to us physically in our own world. We might not open up our world that much that often. So when we see people like Meghan and people like Harry who take their time, their platform, but their visibility, and they expose us to things such as this, it opens your mind. It helps you to think and consider, how can I be more holistic? How can I be healthier? How can I be doing this a different way? How can I be doing this in a way that's more constructive? Because where I live, hospitals don't do this for food. As a matter of fact, I was speaking with a friend of mine who's a doctor, and he was saying how when he became a doctor, he found that he started eating less healthy than before just because of his work schedule, and his eating schedule was all out of whack. And he often just went for quick grabbable bites the first year because he didn't really have a lot of time to like cook and schedule meals and meal plan and things like that. Now that I think he's been a doctor for 8-9 years now, his eating has improved and he's found a routine that works. But he also talked about how he genuinely dislikes hospital food. Like, he has an aversion to it at this point. But I thought that was so funny, because look at you now, you're a doctor and you're probably having more unhealthy habits than you had before, which is just completely counterintuitive. But even saying that he hated the hospital food, growing the food at your hospital, that's one way to get people to always love it, because it's natural. It's not overprocessed. It's not being shipped from who knows where. And it's essentially cafeteria food. And we all know American cafeteria food is the stuff of legend, and that's not a compliment. But like I was saying, being exposed to things like this is important because it gives people insight into how the most mundane, the most regular, the most ordinary things that we have just come to normalize in our society, how they can be done better. And this is a great example of that. Not only the food, but the holistic approach to health, from the mental to the physical, the internal, the external. They're looking at health from a bird's eye view, but then they're also extremely granular and looking at every single thing, every single facet of your health in the human body. I just think this is great. And I can see exactly why they chose to highlight such an amazing organization, but an amazing hospital. So where did I leave off? There, they heard directly from staff about the importance of holistic, patient-centered approaches that prioritize emotional well-being alongside clinical treatment, like the Therapy Garden program, which harnesses the benefits of nature. In the early afternoon, the Duchess visited Macaulay Community Services for Women, a specialist organization supporting women and children experiencing family violence, homelessness, and related challenges. Rooted in a mission of dignity and compassion, Macaulay, I hope I'm saying that correctly, I apologize if I'm not, Macaulay provides crisis accommodation, refuge services, and longer-term housing alongside programs focused on recovery, well-being, and independence. They also have a focus on early intervention, a model that aims to keep women and children safe in their own homes and prevent homelessness before it begins. I absolutely love that. And I love that they highlighted that aspect. We've talked a lot about homelessness. It's one of the main topics of my work outside of YouTube and outside of school. I do a lot of humanitarian work, and homelessness and care for veterans. Those are the top two, and women's needs and things like that. But homelessness and veterans care have been the top two topics that I've centered around in the last couple of years. And homelessness is damn near, it's not impossible, but it is damn near impossible to come out of without any support. But it is so easy to get into. It is so easy to become homeless. And I know a lot of times people say we're all just a couple of checks away from being homeless or destitute or anything like that. And I think we've heard it so much at this point that we say it. It's just a quote. It's just one of those things. It's like, oh, stay motivated. Don't forget to save. Don't blow your money. Save it. Put in some kind of safety parameters. And it kind of goes in one ear, not the other, because we hear it often, but I don't think we face it very often. And that margin is only going to get wider, more narrow. It's not going to be a couple of checks. At some point, it's going to be a check before, the worst could happen. And so I love that they highlighted longer term housing, but also early intervention to prevent houselessness and homelessness, not just, intervene once it's occurred, but how can we divert away from homelessness if possible, and render aid and care at a time where it will be helpful and keep the person in their home, especially when they have children. So I love that they highlighted that. During her visit, the Duchess joined staff and residents in serving a shared meal, an experience that sits at the heart of Macaulay's community model. Time spent in the kitchen offered an opportunity for connection, with conversations centered on the importance of safe spaces, supportive networks, and the role of community in healing. The Duchess also met with Michaela Cronin, Australia's inaugural Commissioner for Domestic, Family, and Sexual Violence, and several women supported by the organization, hearing their stories and learning more about the pathways Macaulay creates for families to rebuild their lives with stability and hope. Later in the afternoon, the couple visited the Australian National Veterans Arts Museum, where they met with members of the veteran community and their families. ANVAM, which is again the Australian National Veterans Arts Museum, is a veteran-led organization that uses artistic expression as a means of supporting well-being and fostering connection. And we know, especially with Prince Harry's work with Invictus, we know that is right up Prince Harry's alley. Through exhibitions and creative programs, veterans are able to share their experiences, offering powerful insights into service and its lasting impact. The Duke and Duchess viewed a selection of artworks and spoke with veterans and their families about the role creativity can play in recovery and community building. The visit underscored the importance of creating spaces where lived experiences can be expressed, understood, and honored. Across each engagement, a consistent theme emerged: the importance of connection, whether through care, community, or creativity. From hospital wards to community kitchens to art spaces, the Duke and Duchess witnessed the many ways in which individuals and organizations across Melbourne are working to support one another and build stronger, more resilient communities. Before we move on, we have to get into the day one fashion, and who better to get those insights from than Vogue themselves. Y'all know Vogue falls all over themselves for Meghan's fashion, and I can't blame them because I'm right there with them. So I will be giving some of my commentary, but I like to rely on Vogue to give the details of the outfit. It says Meghan's chosen outfit for day one wasn't a major departure from her original tour uniform. She wore a sleeveless dress by Australian label Karen Gee, paired with Dior shoes and jewelry from Real Fine Studios studio. Monochrome remains a constant in the Duchess's public-facing wardrobe. She tends to stick to neutral creams and khakis, a palette she also leaned on during the couple's tour of Jordan earlier this year, where she wore multiple looks by Veronica Beard. The same pared back approach was on display again, echoed in the suede St. Agnes skirt and jacket, another Aussie brand, she later chose for a visit to the Australian National Veterans Art Museum. So first, let's get into the Karen Gee dress. We're going to start at the top. I love that she pulled her hair all the way back. Looks really pretty, really sleek. Love this ponytail. Her makeup is very neutral. She looks absolutely phenomenal. I love the simple jewelry. Again, Meghan nails it. I like that the jewelry kind of makes the buttons on the dress pop because she went with very simple jewelry, and she has these 6 beautiful gold buttons right in the center of the breast of the dress, right in the center of the torso, the neckline, and the breast of the dress. It's beautiful, and it makes those pop, especially right above this belt. So again, her dress is monochromatic and her belt is the same color. When I first saw this dress, I didn't see the belt because I was looking at wide shots. When I got into the Vogue article and they did a zoom in, I was like, not this beautiful thick belt with this rectangle belt buckle. I absolutely love it. It's so beautiful. Now, this length on this dress is perfect. It's a midi dress, so you still get the pop of the Dior shoes. 10s across the board. I love this look. It also looks to be, I haven't worn it, but it also looks to be a very comfortable dress. So that's great when you're going to be moving around a lot. So we also have to get into the St. Agnes skirt and jacket combo. Again, monochromatic all the way. Now, I'm not sure how I would describe the color. When I first saw it, I thought it was khaki, and it's described as khaki, so we'll go with khaki. But in some hues on some articles that I saw, it almost looked olive. So I guess it depends on the resolution of the picture, but when I saw the videos too, even in different lighting, it kind of gave you khaki here and almost like a darker camel, and at times even olive, which I love that. Y'all know I kind of talk about it a lot. When clothes catch light, I feel like that really does bring a whole new second look to it, and this is no different. I absolutely love the length of this skirt. Now, I'll be honest, based on the pictures that I saw the first time, I didn't realize this was a skirt because she was walking, and I would mostly see one dominant leg. I thought these were like ankle length pants or trousers or like cigarette pants. I had no idea this was a skirt until I got into the Vogue article again, and they zoomed in for me and I saw that it was a skirt, and I also saw different poses. So I wasn't even sure. I love the length of this skirt. You typically don't see skirts this long anymore. So I love that she's bringing this back. That is a beautiful skirt, and it's suede with the jacket. This is a different type of look for not just Meghan, but this is not a trendy look. It's about to be, though. It's absolutely about to be. Now, I have to say something about the sweater that she's wearing underneath the jacket. The neckline, it's not a mock neck. That's actually more of a turtleneck. But the high neckline with the ribbed neckline, oh my gosh. I freaking love that. I absolutely love that. Again, this is a very original outfit, and I'm not a big St. Agnes person. I just don't see their stuff that often. And y'all know I kind of stick to what I like and what I know, and I kind of just keep returning back to that. Something I'm trying to break out of. This is one of the best look at me outfits I have seen in a long time. I am now paying attention to St. Agnes. I am now paying a lot of attention to them because this outfit is very original, from the jacket itself as well as the longer sleeves. I love that. The more open sleeves, excuse me. The longer skirt, and then you have this ribbed high neck on the sweater beneath the jacket. Absolutely gorgeous. And I've already discussed my thoughts on how it catches the light. I loved everything about this, as well as Meghan's hair. Again, pulled back. You have the pop of the earrings, and again, simple jewelry with nude shoes. I love everything about this. She looked phenomenal. They both looked phenomenal. And again, Prince Harry is wearing an olive or khaki shirt with her St. Agnes outfit. And then with her Karen Gee dress, he is also wearing a suit, a black suit. So they're both in step. They're both sleek. And they give that complimentary look when they're standing next to each other. I don't have enough compliments to give them. Both of these looks were phenomenal. I'm excited for more appearances because I can't wait to see what they're going to wear. I love the work they're doing, of course, but I can't wait to see what they're going to wear. Y'all let me know your thoughts on their outfits in the comment section or the live chat below, because I am floored. I already love the Karen Gee dress, but by this point, if you've been watching my Sussex styles, y'all know I kind of like the kind of posh, kind of prim looks. I love it. I call them princess moments. She gives us these amazing princess moments. But the streetwear St. Agnes look, it floored me. I am so impressed, which is saying a lot because I already knew I would love what she wore. For me to have oh my gosh, what an original look. I mean, it's a look that gets you excited about going in your own closet and seeing what you can put together to have a little fun. Like, I love this look so much. But yeah, St. Agnes, Meghan put me on notice with you. I'm going to be paying attention to you. Fantastic outfit. Thank you so much for watching the Sharion Sade YouTube channel. I appreciate you watching my content. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget to comment along the way. If you feel so inclined, please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Now let's get back to the video. I have done a lot of work to pare back how often I address or make mention of people who don't like Harry and Meghan on this channel. Because at this point, I just feel like it's redundant. It's a waste of your time and mine, but also they're not going to stop. They have these structured pillars within their community that they lean every single thing Harry and Meghan do against. And that's what builds their narrative, so that's what they eat on and feed on until Harry and Meghan show up again and do something else. And then they're like, which pillar can this lean on? You have those kids don't really belong to them. You have they get paid to do nothing. And then you also have they're really broke, blah, blah, blah. And then you also have they're spending taxpayer funded, they're taxpayer funded, excuse me, or the kids aren't real, or they should talk to their family, even though their family has tried to kill them and put them in harm's way. You have all these constant recurring storylines that they lean heavily on. Now, if they weren't awful people, I might spring up a little bit of compassion for the misery that they must be experiencing to live a life like that. But they don't even get that from me. And that's saying a lot. You must be a real awful person to not get compassion from me. That's my leading quality. I walk this earth with compassion and empathy because, damn it, it's a lot going on. But the derangers save me a lot of time and energy because they get none of it. But something that they do is they take any appearance or any activity, any soundbite, any quote, any hair tie, any makeup, any mascara, any nail polish. They take everything from bird's eye to granular. They take it all and they lean it on one of these pillars, and that's how they eat and that's what they feed on until Meghan and Harry show up and do something else. And when I say do something else, I mean get in or out of a car, sneeze, hug somebody, high five. Like, it could be something big or something small. They really depend on Harry and Meghan showing up somewhere to create their world. And I don't know that they even realize, I don't know that they're smart enough to realize that when you are so focused on someone that their existence creates your entire identity and your entire world, you are dependent upon that person. It's why a lot of people say there's a thin line between love and hate, because this is obsession. And it's an obsession that I feel creates a lot of redundancy when we're having topics of discussion, because we kind of always have to lean back into what narrative are they throwing our way this time? Let's push that down. Let's argue that. Let's prove that wrong. And then let's get back to our discussion. And it just feels like it's an ever-present entity. And it's how they're, one, absorbing energy. That's how they stay alive, is getting attention. But two, it feeds their obsession. So I've done a lot of work to try and pare back how often I even acknowledge they exist, because just like ants and roaches and all kinds of other entities that exist, I don't have to acknowledge you just because you're there. Your world depends on Harry and Meghan. And I don't know that you're ready to face what that means yet, but it's damn sure not because you hate them. You're obsessed for sure, but you don't hate them. You can say you hate them. You can say all the things that you want to pretend are wrong with them. You can make up all these narratives, but really, you are absolutely obsessed with them. So why would I waste my time helping you to come to the realization about yourself? You can do that on your own time, and you're certainly not going to get any more of my microphone time for that, or my audience. But something that they are circulating right now is one of their main pillars. Why are they doing a royal tour? Why do they keep going on tour? They're not royal anymore. I think The Guardian also said something like, and I saw the headline, but I damn sure didn't click on it. But The Guardian said something like, no pomp, but cosplay. And I read that and I just said, I'm really, really surprised. I'm disappointed in The Guardian because they used to be one of my main sources. But over the last 5 years, some of the things they've chosen, some of the opinion pieces they've allowed to be published on their website have really undermined their credibility. And it just makes anything else they say or publish. And it damn sure took away all the donations I was sending them, because they always want to put up there, oh, help us stay alive, freedom of press. And you donate your dollar. And then they start posting these crazy articles about Harry and Meghan. And I'm like, oh, no more dollars for you. But that's beside the point. This ever-present question whenever Harry and Meghan go anywhere, whether 7-Eleven or Australia or Jordan or wherever else they go, why are they doing a tour? So it doesn't take a genius to explain this. It's very simple. It doesn't take a genius. And since we don't want to bother a genius with this today, they got a lot on their hands. You get me, not a genius. And I can tell you this. When you are focused on someone who has a very high visibility and their platform is large and massive, they have a connection between not only their massive global audience, but also resources, organizations, people who fund organizations, people who fund mission trips, and people who fund charities and donors. And you get, not only their visibility with their fans, but their visibility with their fans who donate and fundraise to organizations and help people. And they help people become humanitarians, and they help people and connect vulnerable parties with resources and people willing to give them and help them and donate resources. Their platform is responsible for a lot of mutual aid within their network and outside of their network, just by being connected through their network, just by being in proximity to their network. A lot of people receive a lot of help. A lot of people give a lot of help, but a lot of people are exposed to so many facets of aid, mutual aid, help, humanitarianism, philanthropy, etc., by way of these two conduits that are Harry and Meghan. If you watch them, you become exposed to organizations that you might not have been aware of. You are up to date on what's going on related to the topics and the social issues that they address on their platform. So you're staying informed. When they go on these trips, just like with RCH, the hospital with the garden program, we're exposed to different places doing things differently that may help us here or anywhere else. Or if we want to donate and help them continue that work, we now know about it, and we know it exists because of the exposure it was given by the platform that's maintained by Harry and Meghan. Now, some people will, because they like Harry and Meghan, or because they just want to watch Harry and Meghan, or they watch them because they don't like them, or however your eyes found their way to Harry and Meghan. When they go anywhere, because you're watching, they're exposing you to everything in their line of sight. So these organizations, these thought leaders, these companies, what have you, whatever they're engaging with that you are now exposed of, they're better because they now have more exposure. So just because you came upon this information and decided to pull something negative from it, that has everything to do with you. That doesn't mean that's what everybody does. So for example, when I am coming up with my list of monthly donations, and I try to donate a certain amount of money every month. And some of those organizations are staples. My top 5, they get donations every month. But then for my next 15, I like to mix it up. And when I see other organizations, especially global orgs or global or Texan, I'm just no in between, right here at home or far and abroad. But I like to mix it up month to month and give to this place and give to that place. When I'm exposed to organizations doing wonderful things that accept donations, guess what? They now get part of my donation. And I'm not the only one. There are millions of people who engage just like I do. So when we're exposed to orgs and charities and places that receive donations, we now are informed and we can contribute. Or for people who are local, they may say, hey, I'd love to volunteer. I have an extra 2 hours every Saturday that I would love to do something constructive with. I've been exposed, so now let me meet the need with effort, or with money, or with exposure, or with spreading the word, or with writing an article about this, or making a YouTube video, or asking Harry and Meghan about it when we get to interview them the next time. However people decide to operate with the information that they've been exposed to by way of Harry and Meghan's platform, that makes the world more connected, but it also helps to match mutual or create mutual aid. It helps to create pathways for underserved and vulnerable parties to receive resources, and it helps resources find underserved communities and vulnerable parties, because we were all looking or paying attention to the same platform. So for those who decide to say, why are Harry and Meghan there? Why don't you ask yourself, why is that my takeaway? Because celebrities, let's take the fact that they're royal out of it. Celebrities travel all the time, B. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, we see celebrities all the time. I've never heard anybody ask that question about Angelina Jolie. When her trips used to get highly publicized, I mean, they kept a camera on her. When her trips were highly publicized, especially when she was working with the UN, no one ever asked, like, why is Angelina Jolie going to this remote place and exposing us to the harms that have been done there and asking us, giving us a specific ask and telling us where to donate? Why is she doing that? Because she's not royal. The reason people didn't do that is because most people aren't freaking idiots, and we know better. So if you are asking why two very wealthy philanthropists and humanitarians, but also two people who happen to be royal, because Meghan was doing this kind of work before she was royal, two people who happen to be royal, but also two people with a lot of resources, a lot of connections, a lot of exposure, a massive platform, and a whole lot of fans with deep pockets. When you ask yourself, why are those people going to these places, exposing the world to these amazing organizations, but also exposing the world to vulnerabilities that could use some aid? When you see that and you ask yourself those questions, you need to take yourself out of the conversation and then do some deep introspective work. You need some help. You need to go talk to the lady, because your takeaway says far more about you than it will ever say about Harry and Meghan. Now, when I see those ridiculous, asinine opinions published to The Guardian, I have to encourage whoever is behind the scenes at The Guardian who thought that was an appropriate representation of an opinion on your platform, a platform that built itself on being not only free speech, but also thought-provoking free speech, a place where people could go to engage in actual dialogue by people who could lead the way and have those conversations. Whoever is now running that needs to really sit with themselves and say, hey, I need to sideline my disdain for these two people because it's messing up. Caught myself. I'm trying to be better with my language. It's messing up my career. And the notion that Harry and Meghan continuing their philanthropy and humanitarian work is cosplaying royalty is crazy, but also you're telling on yourself. Do you genuinely believe all humanitarians and all philanthropists have to be royalty in order to get fulfillment out of that work? Because I know my broke ass donates time and effort as well. So I'm not royalty. I'm not related to royalty. I don't have any royals in my life. I don't know any royals. Does that mean I'm being royal or I'm cosplaying royals? That's actually especially funny, because how is it cosplaying royalty when royalty isn't doing humanitarian work or philanthropy? How is that still cosplaying people who aren't doing that kind of work? Hell, I would hope they would cosplay Harry and Meghan. I mean, in this manner, not the ways that they've been doing, but I would love it if they would follow the lead and go help. I would love it if they would follow the lead and donate time and invest in humanitarianism. That would be great, because they certainly have the taxpayer resources to do it. How is it cosplaying an entity when that entity does not give back nor help anybody? I think that's just silly. Because how is it that I'm cosplaying someone who isn't doing it in the first place? But then two, how am I cosplaying something that I already am? Y'all know, I know a lot of people feel however they feel about Jay-Z, but that man has some of the best quotes in the world. And one of my favorite is, "You were who you were when you got here. You can try to change, but that's just the top layer. You was who you was before you got here." Wherever you go, whatever you do, no matter what you say, no matter what you wear, who you are on the inside is exactly who you will be. You can't pretend to be anything else. You are who you are. Harry and Meghan could put on a crown and a tiara. They could put on some of those big fancy robes. They could have sat at the coronation. They could wear those bands across their waist. I don't know what those are called, across their torso, the big ribbons. They could do all the pomp and circumstance, ride around in carriages and sprinkle fairy dust. They could do whatever the hell they wanted to do. And it would be valid because they are royal. Or they could use their time traveling, donating, committing to humanitarian work, volunteering, exposing people to mutual aid opportunities, exposing the world to amazing organizations with amazing missions, and teach people how to donate and lead the way for other leaders in our world to help give back, to focus on social issues. They could do exactly what they're doing. And guess what? Whether they're in the carriage or they're in a Mini Cooper or they're on a scooter or they're on a scooty bike, or they're on foot, or they're standing in their beautiful Montecito castle, or they're standing in a hotel, or they're standing in a hospital, or they're standing on the street, or in the restaurant, or in Texas, or in Timbuktu. Wherever they go, they're gonna be royal because, baby, they are royal. You was who you was before you got here. They're royal. There is no cosplaying what you are. I don't know if y'all follow me on Threads, but I know some of y'all do because y'all got a kick out of this. And every couple of weeks, somebody bring it up. But I posted on Threads about Black women. I said something about how Black women are treated and how it's just crazy how people often rely on Black women to fix things, but they won't trust Black women to lead. And it's so crazy. When it comes time to put support and effort behind Black women, there's all this doubt. When it comes time to fix a problem, suddenly let the Black woman do it. And I said that, and I was like, it's a common theme, not just in politics, but in corporate. It's just a common issue. Why did somebody get in my comments and say, funny, you have a lot of concern for Black women without consulting a Black woman about this opinion? And I sat with that and I was like, is this sarcasm? Like, ha, 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 Sharion I genuinely thought the joke went over my head. So I let it sit there. And when I came back about an hour later, those of you who know who I am and knew that I was a Black woman already, y'all got in his ass. I was like, wait a minute. I laughed. I didn't even have time to respond because, again, I get it, because once I realized like that wasn't a joke, or maybe I was just, when you get all hyped up because you're talking about something kind of intense, sometimes you can read something the wrong tone. And so I wanted to self-check. I was like, I'm not gonna respond to this because this could be a joke, because this is kind of a weird question to ask me because I'm a Black woman. Well, apparently he didn't think I was Black or not Black enough. And he was just shooting his mouth off trying to say, basically, you should have asked the Black woman before you decided to defend Black women, which is also a stupid thing because I've seen white women defend Black women all the time. I don't get it. But there's nothing about me that looks white. Like, unless you're just looking for something to be mad about or to say or to criticize, there's nothing about me that looks anything but Black. My hair looks like I'm a Black woman. My features look like I'm a Black woman. I just look like a lighter skinned Black woman. And if you know Black people, we come in all kinds of shades. So yeah, there's that. And so when I read that, I was like, no, what in the hell does he mean? And so I thought about that. And that's why one of that Jay-Z line, you were who you were before you got here, no matter how blonde my hair is from time to time, no matter how straight or curly my hair is, no matter who I'm around or what I'm doing, I take the Black woman with me because I am a Black woman. And this man was accusing me of cosplaying a Black woman or just Blackness in general. And I know y'all made that man regret that. To those of you who were in that it was like 12 people and they were just hitting him left and right verbally. And I was like, damn, I'm scared to say anything because the mob is so hot. I might get jumped. I might get a swing or two. Let me get out of this. I went full Joan Clayton outside of the club. I was like, oh, y'all got it. But I did thank them. I was like, well, thank you for having my back, because I genuinely thought I missed the joke. I thought it was a joke because it just seemed so silly. All you had to do was click on my profile picture. But anyway, I say that to say how insulting for someone to imply or infer that you are pretending to be something that you already are. Bringing it back to center, you're telling me or the world that Harry and Meghan are cosplaying royalty when Harry and Meghan are who now? Maybe y'all using Harry and Meghan too often. Maybe we need to get more formal around this piece so that you can start remembering who you're talking about. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And I say that as the Duchess of Texas, but see, I anointed myself that title and nobody gave it to me. So any day now somebody could come rip it away because it's not real. But see, unlike Harry and Meghan, I made that up. We all saw Harry and Meghan become the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. We saw that. We know it's real. That came from Queen Elizabeth II herself, and she announced it proudly, and they still retain those titles. But let me also bring it back to center even more. Even if they didn't have those titles, Harry was born a prince. And he married Meghan. They're royalty no matter how you slice it. So everything they do will be royal. When they go to the restroom, that is a royal restroom visit. When they go to the gas station to pump gas, that is a royal pumping of the gas. I anoint thee. When they check their mail, that is a royally checking of thine mail. Whatever they do It's royal because they're royal. Kind of like no matter how often my hair is straight and blonde or curly and red or curly and black, I might even do some blue. No matter what I do to my hair, no matter how often I have been in the sun, no matter how often the winter makes me brighter, no matter what I do, say, wear, or dress my hair and makeup up, I'm still going to be a black woman, no matter what. That's just who I am. So when you say someone is cosplaying a thing, you have to ask yourself, how is it that they can cosplay something that they already are? And yet again, bringing it back to Mr. Sean Corey Carter, you was who you was before you got here. They were already royal. But also, diverting away from that ridiculous assessment, when did we have to be royal to be good people? When did we have to be royal to be humanitarians? When did we have to be royal to travel? When did we have to be royal to be public-facing public figures? When did we have to be royal to do any damn thing? And how is it cosplaying when the royals don't do humanitarian work, nor are they philanthropists? So wrapping this up, for anyone who might actually be asking that question, I'm going to humor you this one time. If you genuinely don't understand why Harry and Meghan are doing royal tours, ask yourself, why are they considered royal tours? Because Harry and Meghan are royal. And whether they are working royals or non-working royals, etc., it doesn't matter, because one, they're royals who are doing the work. Not only are they doing the work, they're doing the only work being done by royals, because the other royals who are still quote unquote working royals aren't doing a damn thing, which is so funny. The irony of calling yourself a working royal when you're the royals who aren't working. That is so funny to me. And not funny, haha, but funny, real damn sad. Because you're sitting on millions and millions of taxpayers' dollars and adorning yourself with it. That's it. Meanwhile, the people you went above and beyond to paint in a bad light, to exile, to mistreat, to disrespect, to try to downplay them in the public eye and ruin their reputation. You worked your ass harder than you've ever worked before. They worked their asses off to try to smear and besmudge Harry and Meghan's reputation. And then Harry and Meghan are the only royals who are working. They don't have to be called working royals for us to see what's really going on. So the next time you ask yourself why they're on tour, listen to this video, because they're not on tour, they're doing work. And I know that looks crazy to you because you're not used to seeing royals do work, but just get hip to it. And if you want to see your same old boring non-working royals who don't really do anything to earn the taxpayer funds that keep them rich and wealthy, you can go back and look at them. You don't have to worry about Harry and Meghan. You can go back and look at your royal mannequins all you want to, who sit on a throne and sit on a balcony or stand on a balcony and wave to you peasants. And then they go back into their multi-million dollar properties and house their own personal private pedophiles, and they protect them from justice. And they go do the things they do, none of which is humanitarian or philanthropy work. And they go do what they do. And you can talk about them and look at them and peer at them all you want. Why are you bothering Harry and Meghan? Harry and Meghan are busy. They got work to do. They don't have time to play in the sandbox with you. So the next time you ask why are they on tour, ask yourself why. Why does it matter? Because aren't they there doing the work? Whether you call it a tour, an engagement, a trip, a visit, what have you, it's still work being done, needed work that's being done. And it shouldn't just be done by Harry and Meghan. It should be done by every single world leader that we have, but it's not. So maybe that's why it's foreign. And maybe you should focus on the fact that it's foreign because you're not used to seeing people who have the resources and the platforms and the determination to get shit done, actually getting shit done. You're used to seeing a bunch of fat cats in power positions taking advantage of people who don't have it to give. So why don't you go bother them? And you let the people who are doing the real work alone. Get out of their way so they can keep doing the real work while you go mull over whatever your next outrage is about to be. You're wasting your time and theirs. Well, not theirs, because they don't even know you exist. So those are my thoughts. That criticism really irritates me because it's one of the more stupid of their many pillars of criticism. But again, I'm paring back how often I even address that shit, because at the end of the day, I'm asking people to rewire their entire identity when they're determined to just identify themselves as haters of Harry and Meghan. And they're not going to do it. They like being haters. They like that being an identifying trait of theirs. And that's who they've based their whole personality on. And asking them to be anything other than haters, especially stupid, ignorant, deranged haters, asking them to be anything else is simply asking them to find a new identity. And they don't know how. I'm giving them a lot more credit to even think that they're capable. So I'm going to do the compassionate thing this one time only and ignore them. But those are my thoughts. At the end of the week, I'm doing a fashion rundown of all of Meghan's looks. I have something really fun in store, so I'm so excited about that. So I'm only going to touch on them here, but we're definitely going to do a deep, deep dive at the end of the week once the tour is over. So that's all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks to those of you who've been joining me on Chats and Chill. I hope you're enjoying that as well. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.